You thought you were going to run crawling back to them, as the case usually is. They picked up their phone constantly to see if they would get a message from you apologizing, even though you were not wrong. They constantly brag about how you couldn't do without them, how they have been the one carrying you on their shoulders, how they've been the best thing that ever happened to you. They closed the door behind, not considering what your feelings were, how emotionally down their departure could lead to. They did not consider how and what would become of you if they walk out of your life. Constantly wait for that moment where they would tell friends and families, I told you she was going to come back. I told you they were going to come back. They constantly wait for that time where you would have to be broken and it will be written all over you that they were the reasons you were glowing, that they were the reasons you were happy, that every illuminating part of you was because of their very existence in your life. Night turns into days. You took the pain, you took it in silence. Not that you were not broken, but you decided to be quiet. You shut yourself from people. You cried. You had nights of calls, nights of loneliness, nights of wishing things could go back to where they used to be when it all started. Wishing that you could hear that knock on the door. Wishing the text could come in with them realizing their mistakes. But it never came. You cried your eyes out on your pillows. You started questioning if you were actually the reason. You started questioning your deeds. Was I too hard on them? Was I complaining too much? Would I have handled it differently? Was I wrong to have expressed my emotions? And then it beckoned on you that you were actually not the problem because you chose to express yourself. You chose to love freely. And that was all you ever wanted, to be loved in return. All you ever wanted was to be respected. All you ever wanted was to be treated the way you treated them. But what did you get in return? Constant nights of talks, constant nights of complaint, constant nights of comparison, constant nights of not seeing your value, constant nights and days of you being compared to people you don't even know. You took all this in pain. And then something changed. You stopped begging for closure from people who constantly break and hurt you. You stopped seeking attention from people who were too blinded to see your true words. You stopped expecting their text messages. You stopped expecting them to treat you with respect because you realized this was something they were never going to truly understand and offer. You decided to choose peace over emotional instability. You rebranded yourself. You moved on. You had tears. They weren't easy. You had your painful moment, your tears moment, the moment where you locked yourself up and wonder why things were the way they were, why things went so bad, even though you were sincere. You wonder why your love could not be reciprocated, despite the fact that you shut other doors just to be with them. Then it finally clicked. You decided it was your time, a time to treat yourself better, a time to appreciate yourself, a time to seek your own validation rather than seek validation from people, a time to rebuild yourself rather than watch people burn you down and tear you down, even if it was willing to cost you your emotional peace. You realized that it was time. You began to do things that made you truly happy. You started the careful journey of rebuilding yourself, of rebranding yourself. You decided to make yourself emotionally available for only people that were emotionally available for you. You learned that life sometimes does not give us what we really want. That life sometimes throws at us things we are not deserving. Then you finally began to heal. The healing was gradual. The healing took time. The healing cost you a lot of painful nights of tears and regret because you had already planned your future with this person. The moment you let go of that pain, the moment you were willing to let go of those things that were pulling you down from discovering yourself, that was the moment you began a journey of self-discovery. You discovered that you were just enough for yourself. And the version of the person you became was truly amazing. They started seeing you glow. They started seeing you do amazing things. Your career began to, grow. You started chasing those dreams that you've always wanted to chase. You started focusing on things that constantly gives you happiness. And in retrospect, these things began to play out. You started being happy. They started seeing you succeed. These were not things they were expecting. They expected you to come crawling back to them. They expected you to see you be a shadow of yourself. But that was not what they got, because you chose peace over drama. And to cap it all, you put yourself in a position where your heart owed no bitterness. You knew you were lovable. And to their surprise, you were even open to loving people again. Just at this time around, you've chosen that whoever you love should truly be deserving of your love. You're not just going to throw away your love for people that would not appreciate what you bring to the table. You knew the things you were looking out for. You chose consistency, sincerity, openness, love, affection, and true care over dramas, inconsistency, infidelity, and unnecessary tantrums. This is the version you've built for yourself. They might not like it, but this is the version you've decided to sustain. This is the version you would keep, because sincerely speaking, you are enough and you are lovable. The fact that you went through all what you went through is not going to stop you from loving. It is not going to stop you from being true to yourself. In fact, it has prepared you to love even more. But just at this time around, your love will come at a cost. And that cost is you are only giving your love to people that truly deserve it. And that is what you will do.